Hey everybody, Mark Manistow here from Subway Performance Group, and I'm chatting with my friend Marc Serre. How are you doing, Mark?
Hello, my friend Mark. Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So we've got another edition of the Northern Arts Festival coming up right around the corner, and it's going to be a whirlwind of music happening, music and art happening throughout the week leading up to Family Day weekend. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to be playing a couple of gigs for us. So thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you to you for having me again. It's a pleasure, and I think it's fantastic that you can do this for the Sudbury area. So, thanks to you.
Yeah, absolutely. But let me just ask you, like we're chatting with some of the artists that are going to be performing in the Northern Arts Festival, just about their process and just so people can get to know who it is that they're going to be seeing throughout the week. And so, Mark, if you were to like sum up your performance, if you were to sum up Marc Serre, the performer, how would you sum yourself up?
I think maybe not unlike other musicians, but I'm always thinking of a mixed tape, and maybe it's of my generation, but I just found a mixed tape that I did for my father in 2000, the year before he died, or in 1999, sorry, the year before he died. But anyway, I had made him as a Christmas gift was a blank tape or a mixtape of songs. So I think I'm always kind of going about how set lists should go and how which song should come before or after another, and what makes for a good mixtape. And so an evening with me might be something like like 3 different mixtapes or 3 different sets, and I still think of it that way. What should come after the next, and I'll be halfway through a song and then thinking about what would really fit after this one. But yeah. So I'm always thinking that way.
And Mark, like I've seen you perform like tons of times because like you're kind of part of the Subway Performance Group music family, so to speak. And I got to say, every time I go to see you perform, like no 2 shows are ever the same. So that's kind of neat, that you're calling on like so many different genres, from country to rock to pop, a little bit of everything. And like I think the neat thing. The neat thing I think about you is that, you're a francophone, by heart, and like you also throw some francophone music in there, which is kind of neat because we don't get to see that a lot during like Subway Performance Music nights. So that's so I really appreciate you doing that, because that speaks to our community and what we're all about.
Yeah. I'd love to be able to do that. Again, thanks again for having me in the times you have had me in the different venues that are hosted by the Sudbury Performance Group. But yeah, I mean, I think as a musician or as a performer in these venues, you have the advantage of looking the opposite way than everyone else is. Like I'm people watching all the time or people listening. So and being in Sudbury, you hear a lot of French words or French conversations happening. So then I go, oh, they can hear me, or I can hear them. So you throw in a French song, and it's always nice to see people's reactions. And I am lucky to have to be able to go back and forth. But and with the experience, there's a repertoire that builds and that continues to build that I can continue to play upon.
For sure. And like what would you say like your musical influences are?
Oh, again, and that's broad too, and that comes with experience and with my age maybe. But a lot of heavy rock, heavy metal, which would be surprising if you've seen me play. And that's always, it's from my older sister, having an older sibling and a younger one. But I think the older sibling plays a part in how and what you listen to, because they're the first to buy the music, and when we used to have to do that. So a lot of heavy rock and a lot of very old country music that my parents and my family listened to, sitting at family parties when I was young and just hearing that old music. So whatever comes in between metal, 80s metal and 60s and 70s country music is where I fit there. So so I'm fitting into quite a broad range there, but I still sit there and I still hear that music in my head. And sometimes when I'm playing, so it just hopefully comes out somehow, but without hearing the metal, of course, because I just can't sing that as much as I enjoy the music.
Well, knowing that now, like next time I see you play, I want to hear some Whitesnake, or I want to hear some Judas Priest or something,
Well, I think that's what I judged. I used to judge what good singers were people that could sing like David Coverdale or Steve Perry from Journey. They were the best singers, and no one had a voice or a deep voice like mine until, then you started hearing the country music or Brad Roberts from the Crash Test Dummies. But like, oh, they can be good singers and still and not sing, altos like Steve Perry. So I can't sing. So as much as I'd like to indulge, I do acoustic covers of some of the 80s metal, but David Coverdale and Whitesnake would be tough. But I might think of one for you, just for you, Mark. But
okay, good. I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
So the Northern Arts Festival, like really, it really is a celebration of like the voice of Northern Ontario. And here we are, we're early February, although it looks like it could be April out right now. But what does being a Northerner mean to you? And like does being a Northerner affect your growth and your creative outlets as an artist?
I don't know. I mean, music is so worldly, and you and I liking Whitesnake, or me liking Johnny Cash, it was not dependent of where I grew up, of course.
Right.
I think I might be more comfortable driving to gigs in the wintertime with my northern upbringing. I can take the weather, and like you said, we're not getting that weather now. But I think where it may have formed me is in the local French music that I had been a part of when I was younger. Not so much now, unfortunately, but in the local French music that came from Northern Ontario and Quebec, which influenced me. So it would only be on the French side for me where my Northern influence would be heard or still felt.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. And like, certainly, like, being in Sudbury, I think the population is almost split, maybe 50-50, Anglophone, Francophone. So yeah, I can see where you're coming from about how the Francophone, how being a Northerner, especially in our neck, can affect your Francophone influences. I don't want to keep it too long because I know that you've got to go and make some dinner for you and the family. So let me ask you, just if you to you, like, what's the ideal performance? Like when you get off the stage and you go, oh my gosh, I nailed that. I just absolutely killed that set. I had the audience eating out of the palm of my hand. Like what is it that makes you think that?
I don't know. It's so the public in restaurants or in bars is difficult to read. What I've learned is that everyone is always listening, even though they might be having their own conversations and not looking your way. Everyone is listening. And it's just the comments at the end. It's just where I think I sounded all right. Hey, I really did I did those songs all right, or I sang it well, or the set worked well together, but I may not have felt a lot of feedback. It's when the feedback does come at the end, I think, to maybe justify it or to maybe, bring it back to say, well, or to hear actually from people to say, hey, that was good. We were listening all night. You did a great job. I like the songs you chose. I like the order of them. And so those compliments kind of validate my night. But I have a lot of good nights, not to speak to myself about how good I might be or the talent, but I'm having a good time, and I do the songs that I do because I enjoy them. And I hope people do too. And again, when I can get the feedback is what helps validate and helps me make, have a better night. If at the end I can have spoken to people that enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that because like on a theater level, there are times where we're performing like one of our theater shows and we get off at intermission and we say, oh my God, the audience they're sitting on their hands. They're not enjoying it. They're so quiet. And you think, we got to be stinking it up or something. We're just not engaging the audience. And then you go and talk to them after the show and they're saying, oh, that was absolutely incredible. I can't believe I just saw that. And you're like, well, where were you the past 2 hours, Yeah. So you really, you can never tell what the audience is thinking until I guess the end, and like you say, when you get to chat with them afterwards and they give you that feedback. So I guess like the learning point is, always assume that you're kicking butt and you've got them engaged and if you're working towards that and you're giving it your all,
Yeah.
you're probably succeeding then.
Yeah.
Well, that's it's one of the funny things about being an artist. Like, I mean, you're always second guessing whether or not everybody's listening and enjoying. But I think deep down, we're always kind of our own worst critic. But such is life. And you're going to be performing twice for us during the festival, so I'm super excited about that. You're performing a solo gig, then you're going to be doing a duo with your chum Davey. So yes, and that'll be the first time that I've seen the two of you perform together. So I'm really looking forward to that. So Marc, look, thanks for taking a little bit of time and chatting with me this evening, and we will see you out. You're going to be at Finn McCool's, and you're going to be at Trevi?
The Hilton, I think.
Oh, Hilton, that's right.
Yeah,
Hilton and at Finn McCool's. So Hilton is going to be Davey, and then Finn McCool's will be you. So
yeah,
awesome. Yeah. Well, I look forward to checking out both the performances, and thanks so much for taking some time out for me tonight.
I hope to see you then, Mark, and thank you for everything that you do for us and for having this festival again. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
See you. Bye.
Bye. Easy.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark. And I do mean it. Thanks for everything.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
Have a good night.